these two corridors, Evergreen and Fawn, have kind of sort of the homes on one side and undeveloped property on the side. There's a couple places where, I think one place where we have homes on both sides, but for the most part, there's open fields on one side and homes on the other side. You probably know that better than us. So what we'll try to do, our first go round would be try to be on the opposite side of the road from the homes, and then snake back and forth as we need to stay away from driveways. But if there's a driveway that we need to cross, we'll go bore underneath it so there's no impact on the driveway. And so finally, we do have some information, if you're interested in getting it, which we have kind of sort of the township plat maps, so you can see where all these people actually are, living along the roadway, and you can see, kind of sort of where the roads go and all the individual property owners. We have kind of sort of a Google Earth satellite view of Evergreen and Fawn. So we have these up here if you'd like to see them. And we have, we do have the letter that we sent to homeowners as the formal notice that the pipeline's coming. And we do have a draft legal easement agreement for those of you that actually live along the roadway. You might want to pick up one of these. This is a single page. You'll see this if you go to do a record search on any property. Easements like this. Marquette Adams cable folks had an easement that looks like this. The only difference is up here at the top where they didn't have any money. We actually have a blank dollar per linear foot that we would pay for the easement. So we'll actually pay for the right to cross your property. Again, that's not filled in yet because we need some discussions, try to find out where the price point is for everybody. So everybody basically gets the same, so landowner A doesn't get twice as much as landowner B right beside them. Any questions? Yes?
On page 3 you talk about securing easements and approvals. Is Clean Energy the company that will record the easements, the updated easements? Very
good question. We are project developers. The legal entity that will own this, has been created by us. Greg and I are actually personal owners of that company, and we'll have some outside investors that don't live in the area that'll be owners of this as well. But but this will be Newchester Clean Energy LLC will actually be the legal entity that will own the easements and that will own all the assets.
And we'll take care of the recording
right.
of everything. Yes.
Yeah.
And my second question has to do with: does the project have the capacity? Should in the future the Richfield proposed CAFO want to tie into this pipeline? We don't know exactly what's going to happen in the future, whether it's Richfield or others in the area, or even if a new cheese plant wants to go in. I mean, we don't have a crystal ball. However, we've had that same thought you're thinking and said, look, let's build the pipeline to 6 inches. We could probably get away with 4. Let's do 6 inches. Costs us a little more electricity to pressurize that pipeline, but not that much more, and let's have some room to grow. We just don't know whether in the town of Westfield we want to have an economic development jobs opportunity for other folks to come in and locate here. This could be a big selling point, medium selling point. It could be, there's a lot of other dairies and folks with organic waste that they would like a little less odor and a better place to put it. So we want to have the ability to do that all along the pipeline, or even a little bit off of it, and we can tap into it.
As you get to know us, you'll learn 2 things. I'm Mr. Brevity, he's Mr. Detail. So we are building we have taken in the possibility of several points of expansion along the line. And if a Richfield CAFO does go in, we have looked at it where there would be a county road pipeline route where we could tee into this pipeline and supply additional biogas to you know, if the deal works out with Brakebush Brothers, if, you know, we could supply additional power to them, or we could supply potentially, you know, biogas, or,
Industrial park or something.
yeah, to an industrial park, to the federal prison, however it might work out.
Yeah,
But yes.
but again, none of those things are signed up, or we're far from any of that kind of stuff.
Ma'am?
Are any other farms contributing to this endeavor as far as supplying them?
We are talking with several, but as of right now, there are no other signed commitments.
So the rumor of Slowey and Solpine is unfounded?
You know,
We've been talking.
we have confident, I mean,
Thanks.
obviously, business conversations are confidential.
Yeah.
We've been talking to several folks. Tim, you can,
Tim has graciously hosted us at his farms on several occasions.
but we don't have a deal with Tim.
Okay, well, maybe he could answer this question then. If they do sign on, how will they transport their manure and what route would they use?
Well, if we would, the idea would be we would place gas production facilities along the route. So if there was another dairy or two that wanted to talk with us, we would look at putting a digester at their farm so that the manure wouldn't have to be transported. Although
It's easier to move gas than it is
Right.
a
Yeah.
whole bunch of liquid and
Right.
solids.
But that would involve more pipelines then, all the time.
Right.
well, actually, I mean, let's just take the
I
Slowey
got a
farm
question.
for
Is this-
example.
Is this in stone?
Okay.
In other words, 5 years from now, you come along and say, well, we want a 24-inch line. We don't want a 6.
Yeah, the
We probably would not do that. I mean,
Yeah,
we're building in
Well, probably
extra.
isn't the answer. I want to know one way or the other. Can you do it or can't?
We would have to go all the way through this whole process again. If we expanded our system, we'd have to go through the whole process from scratch. We don't intend to do that. We intend to put enough extra oomph, is that a technical or oomph, in the line so that we would not have to do that.
So let's go back to the Slowey example. If we work something out with the Sloweys, we would have a gas production facility which would essentially be comprised of a biodigester facility there and a pipeline on their property which would tee into the pipeline in the roadway. So no, there would not necessarily be additional public pipeline on additional public access land.
This is all we're planning, the 6-inch line is all we're planning to do now and for the foreseeable future. You know, what might happen 10, 15 years from now, you know, we just don't know.
But if you're saying that we'd have to go through this all over again, if we've already given you the easement and given you that access to our property, how would that change? If you already own the easement, how is that going to be any different? Why am I going to be back at the conversation?
This easement would be for a 6-inch line. So we would come back again and negotiate something else.
What about additional people that would want to use that easement as well?
This would
This
only
is our
be,
easement.
this
No
would be
one
a
else
private
can use this
easement
easement.
just for us for a 6-inch
We're
pipeline.
not a public utility, we're not a public company. This would be for our purposes and our purposes only.
Now, what if you sell your rights of this easement to another company or another whatever out there? How do we know this gets transferred over?
The easement is transferable, but like any easement, but we intend, you know, our intent, this would be owned by Newchester Clean Energy, and so it would be for the purpose of, if the owners of Newchester Clean Energy change 25 years from now, it would likely still be Newchester Clean Energy that would own the pipe for the purposes of bringing biogas from A to B. If the biogas wasn't there, the pipe really wouldn't be used.
But, back to my question, you are controlling the easement, you can basically do whatever you want. Today you're saying one thing, you could, 10 years down the road, you could say, you know, we're going to do something else with this because we have rights to it.
The easement would be for a 6-inch plastic pipe. So if we decided to come in and put an electric line in or a 24-inch pipe or something else, we'd have to start over.
With who?
With the landowners.